I'm going to give you a quick run through, a little bit of background on who we are and what we do. But I also want to talk about a little bit of research that we've commissioned with people like yourselves, with end users, and reflect on some of that buying behavior and how that will affect our strategy. And I'll finish with a couple of quick customer stories. So we're a managed services provider, and what we provide is a suite of converged technologies. At various stages, that said, it might be infrastructure, it might be platform. These days, that's a very, very blurred line. As Simon says, it's increasingly going from infrastructure to platform-based technologies. But we kind of don't make that distinction. It's up to us to give you guys the tools that whatever the applications that you're running, whatever the business outcomes and business tools you're operating, we want to give you the appropriate stuff to run it on. So if we look very, very quickly in sort of 2 slides at what our strategy looks like, ultimately, strategy as aspiration, our aim, our raison d'etre is to be trusted with your mission-critical technology. Whatever that may be, we want to be the guys that is helping you to build a better business by doing the things that we're good at so that you can focus on the things that you're good at. And we think that there's an opportunity for all of us, because it is a partnership, or it should be a partnership, that opportunity exists across three key dimensions. So firstly, we think there's a major market opportunity out there that, from talking to you guys every day, from talking to our vendor partners, analysts, and some of our own research, that we're really seeing a couple of key things. Firstly, increasingly, the CIOs and the IT leaders I speak to, it's all about business outcomes. The meetings we have are very, very different to even 5 years ago and definitely 10 years ago, when IT departments were running large, complicated infrastructures and managing it all in-house. And when they came to a vendor, they probably had an architecture in mind, they had technology stacks in mind, whereas now they come to us and say, this is what we're trying to achieve. What do you recommend to achieve it underneath that? So that trend, focus on the business outcomes and then utilize managed services to help you deliver it, take that complex infrastructure, complex platform away, make it somebody else's challenge, is a big opportunity for us. Secondly, we think we've got a converged proposition that can address that opportunity. I'll run through very, very quickly what's in that portfolio, but we think it's in pretty good shape. And it's also, as the guys have said, it is about dealing with that hybrid challenge. And that is hybrid across a whole raft of different definitions. Legacy with new. We've got customers running 15, 20-year-old applications right next to the newest, shiniest thing that they've just acquired. It's about on-prem, off-prem. It's about colo versus cloud versus public versus private, etc. A whole lot of challenges in there, a whole lot of phenomenal capabilities that guys like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, et al. Are building out. But it's a whole new world. And the last thing, and in a way the most important thing, is the customer experience. So it's our job to bring our people and your technology and our technology together in a hopefully non-David Brent way. I hate it when I do that. Bring those people and technologies together elegantly in a way that works for your business, in a way that is highly personal to your business, and help to do that in a more digital, more automated, more seamless, more transparent way. And I'll talk to a couple of those points later. But these are the things that we think will help us to be successful, and hopefully will help you to be successful. I thought Simon's stuff on the hyperscale was just fantastic. We don't get asked it quite so much, but a few years ago we used to get asked a lot by the press and analysts and investor community. Are you guys going to build your own public cloud and have this great big self-service capability? And we went, no. I said, we're not nuts. I haven't got the billions of dollars that these guys can throw at these sorts of things. That was never our direction of travel. That is why it was never our direction of travel. But it is going to be a part for a great many of you in the room of your direction of travel. And we need to help you guys with that. Because Simon's exactly right. You know, we've had customers who think that they know how to spec up a cloud service based upon how their current on-prem client-server architecture is built, and it's just a completely different world. You know, I like an analogy. I'm trying to find a good analogy for this. I haven't got one. I've got a bad analogy for it, which I will share with you. It's like saying that a train engineer can become an airplane engineer just because he's an engineer of transport-based systems. There is no comparison. You know, he's got a better chance than somebody who isn't an engineer at all. But if you think that you can handle today's IT infrastructure and just take all that onto a hyperscale cloud and manage it with the same people in the same way, well, it's a very, very different skill set. And that's why a lot of people are coming to guys like us to say, I really love some of these capabilities of AWS, Azure, Google, but I simply have got no idea how to build it and operate it in a way that is sustainable and will keep it working. So that's one of the key things we are seeing in terms of buying behavior is people going, I want to take advantage of all this new stuff, but I don't want to relearn how to build infrastructure and platform level tech. I want somebody else to help me with it so I can focus on what really matters. There's a few interesting pieces of research that we came up with. So this is end user research with mid-market companies in the UK. It's the sort of fairly classic mid-market definition, 50 to 1,000 employees. We've got lots of customers who are smaller than that, lots of customers who are an awful lot bigger than that, but as the sweet spot, we really sort of see ourselves as being a mid-market provider. So basically, it's trying to drill down into how does cloud change IT department behavior. And we found, I say we use a company called Freeform Dynamics, who are experts in end-user IT research. They found a very, very clear correlation between three key things, which was, as people, the same companies who've moved from a limited cloud use to extensive cloud use, also had evolved from a more generalist IT department, i.e. keeping the lights on, servers, patching software, fixing PCs, fixing printers, doing all those kind of run rate stuff, to more specialist IT departments, i.e. line of business applications, digital, new technologies, working in new ways, be more innovative, etc., more specialized skills within the IT function, were also the ones who were the highest performing. There was a strong enough correlation between those three to clearly imply causation that these three things combined, you use the cloud to take away the IT resource from keeping infrastructure and plumbing and platforms like that running, so you can focus that resource on being more specialist, on adding value to the business by introducing new software, new ways of working, new technologies, new digital models, etc. And that resulted, and the performance metric here was business value, that results in higher business value. Really, really interesting piece of research. And again, a lot of the CIOs and people I talk to in this room and in other rooms, that's really what they're wanting to do, is say, it isn't about cutting costs and cutting heads per se. That was something else that really came out from this. Most people aren't saying, if I just ship stuff to the cloud, I can just get rid of everybody and save myself a fortune. It's about completely re-engineering how an IT department works and what it delivers in terms of value to the business. And the second thing I'll share, which is a complete eye test, don't worry, we'll get this to you later, was rating, apart from technology, what are the key assessment criteria when evaluating people like us, basically, potential managed services providers. One of the key trends is you guys kind of assume the technology is going to work, and that's kind of what we are here to do, backed up with our vendors. But number one, I won't read them all out, I'll just call out a few. Number one by a long way, availability of experienced technical personnel. Not a great surprise. Number two, service level commitments for critical systems. And interesting, you flick that to the bottom, the least important was comprehensive self-service capability, followed by growth and flexibility options, but it was really interesting that the clear last one was self-service. Shouldn't be a surprise, because if you're evaluating a managed services provider and then wanting to do it all yourself, you're probably having the wrong conversation. This is the other reason why we don't do self-service public clouds ourselves. We could not hope to compete against the automation orchestration capabilities of AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, VMware Air, etc. Could not hope to compete with that. They are literally off the scale in terms of that capability. Fortunately, these answers came out like this, because our strategy is very much this. If it had come out the opposite way around, that you wanted to drive all these tools yourself, then our strategy would be badly wrong. I do strategy for a living. That would have put my livelihood, would have been in a dangerous position. But this is good, because the focus for us, for our digital interactions with you guys, is actually more around making it easier for you to work with us. Automating simple transactional stuff so that we can all focus on the things that actually add more value to the business. It isn't about saying, here's a whole bunch of tools that sort of sit in front of Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and other people's tech, drive it yourselves. It's about, we want to be the guys driving it for you, so you can focus on what are you actually doing with that infrastructure, with those platforms, etc. We are a technology provider, whether it's platforms or infrastructure, define it however you will. One of the things we always wanted to do is have control of the core assets that power our solutions. So we own and operate a couple of our own data centers. They are our cloud platforms. We've got our own 40+ POP next generation network that's UK, Western Europe, US. We'll be expanding shortly into the Far East. We don't have copper or fiber in the ground because we're not nuts. But we do recognize that the network is still critically important to you guys. Some of those stats like, was it 20 terabytes of data an hour, and that's just coming from a car, one car? It may well be that those hockey stick charts about data growth, they might even be understating the case when you look at some of these Internet of Things projections. But the network is not going to become any less important, especially when you're doing more off-premise, when you're doing more cloud-based things. We're talking to a huge amount of the guys in this room about how do we connect you privately at phenomenally high speeds to Azure, see, I did it too, Azure, AWS, etc. But really the bit that we focus on, the bit that matters to you guys, are the sort of over-the-top services, as some people call them. But what are you consuming from us, and who are the technical people? Not an exhaustive list, but a few of our accreditations that are kind of cloudy related. So we've got, these will all be the wrong logos, so if you are a vendor in this room, I do apologize. But somewhere at the back of the room, we've got Dell and HP. We're a Microsoft Gold partner with lots of different practice levels. We're a cloud solution provider. We're a cloud OS network provider, Amazon partner, Google partner, VMware partner. We're PSN accredited, PCI DSS, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We've got a whole host of these qualifications. If you looked at the rest of them, it's kind of our job to have these capabilities so that we can look after whatever it is that you trust us with. And ultimately, our proposition is to do these things. First thing to do is we want to work with you guys to understand your business outcomes. It might be something leading edge, bleeding edge, Internet of Things, machine-based learning, whatever. Or it might just be, we want to be more innovative. We want to start doing some of that DevOps, agile stuff. We want to take new functionality out to our end users once a week instead of twice a year, or once a month instead of once every couple of years. Whatever it is, chances are speed and agility and innovation will be at the heart of what you're trying to achieve. We want to give you the platforms and tools to do that. So we want to be operating those critical workloads, whatever they are. It could be ERP, CRM, other acronyms are available, line of business software, e-commerce, websites, etc. Not just give you that platform, but in between the workload and the platform, we want to put in a monitor and protect capability. I was really pleased to see service level commitments come up very high towards the top of what you guys are looking for, because we see the world along very similar lines. We want not just to be guaranteeing application performance, but to be guaranteeing application uptime. Because we think that's what actually matters to you. Is the application up, and is it performing well? Because sometimes it can be up and it's just running like a dog, so it's actually detracting value. And if we tell you that, hey, the platform's running and the infrastructure's fine, yeah, but it still isn't working properly, what you're really paid to do is keep those things going, and that's what we want to focus on too. Security, incident, event management, managed security, managed compliance, all those good things. Infrastructure and platforms across the piece. So network, overlay voice services. We're talking about our cloud platforms, public cloud platforms. It's our job to work with you to put the right tools in place for whatever those workloads, whatever those systems you're running are. We want to be the guys who've got the professional services to help you with design and build, and the managed services to help you with deploy, operate, optimize, etc. And on the other side, you know, things will still occasionally go wrong, so at least have that capability that if bad things do end up happening, then we can ensure that we can get you back up and running quickly with business continuity and disaster recovery tools.